Okay, Jimmy, back again with a different view and a bunch more stuff. First, I want to talk about the tubes that we're going to use to make these motors. These are some that I purchased from Firefox. They're also available from Skylighter and other sources. They're a heavy cardboard tube, 3/4 of an inch outside diameter, 1/2 inch inside diameter, leaving an 1/8 inch wall size. Their outside diameter is pretty much the same as an ST's motor. Now these are good casings, they're relatively cheap, but you don't have to buy casing. You can make your own. You can make them out of poster board and Elmer's glue. You can also make any size you want. So this is a good technique to know. I'll show you that later. For the moment, we're going to be expedient and go with the store-bought motor tubes. Here I've cut one of those tubes into 7 sections, each one 2 3/4 inches long. That's the length of an ST's motor casing. So it'll fit into an ST motor mount without any alteration. That's why we're using this size. So, I'd like to start making the motor casing, meaning to put a nozzle in one of these existing casings. Here's one that's already got one. But I like to do that by introducing you to my favorite dirt, the best earth on earth, bentonite clay. This, as I understand, is volcanic ash that's been deposited and weathered over the eons and become a very, very, very fine powder, very interesting substance. It has a unique property that when compressed dry, it becomes very hard and solid. So one does not need to wet this and dry it and wait for it to dry out. Also, as clay dries, it shrinks, so it gets loose from the tube. So it has several advantages. Very nice stuff. Here's a little nozzle former that I made a couple of days ago. So we have a cut case. We put it on this little centering jig, and then we need to funnel a small amount of bentonite into it. Now to funnel it, I have a trick that I made up. I rather like this. It's called, I don't know, what is it called? Let's make up a name for it. Loading wing. Okay? So we get 1/4 teaspoon of bentonite clay, put it on the loading wing. Let's do 2 more. We're going to use 3/4 teaspoon increments. It's better to pack the clay in 3 different increments than one big one. You get a much better pack that way. So we'll start with my newly made loading wing and dump it on top. Okay. Then we're going to use this ramming tool, which is a hollow core. I've marked one end, so we always pound on this end. That way we don't mess up this end. I'll insert it over the little core former. Then I'm going to tap it lightly with a rubber mallet. Now, I want to tap it harder than that, but I don't want to do that on this table because I mess up the works. So, let's focus our camera on that cement block, patiently waiting over in the distance. I'll take it over there. Found it good. There we go. Now you can use a steel hammer for this, but you got to go easy with it. A steel hammer can burst the casing because you have essentially hydraulic pressure. This clay flows almost like a liquid under that level of pressure. We added our second increment, put the rammer back in, and pound that one too. One more increment. Pull this out. Throw a little more powder in. Notice I really didn't need that sharp point, but I like it. We'll make sure the powder goes down to the bottom. Insert the rammer one more time, and pack, 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 pack. Okay, let's see what we got. Now, I'd like to remove from the base before I remove the ramming tool, because that'll help prevent me from crumbling this new nozzle. I'll just wiggle it off. Okay, and now that that's off, I'll remove the coring tool and see what we've got. Let's look at that kind of close. Can we focus this close? So, let's try it and see. There we have a nice little nozzle. See all the way through. It's even flared a little bit on that end.